My beloved soul, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary, and it is not sluchakakui or stayeri. This message has crossed time, distance, and unseen realms just to reach you right now. Out of millions of voices, out of countless distractions, you are the one who stopped here, and that is not by accident. This is a divine interruption. And what I am about to reveal has never happened before, not like this, not in all of history. There is a movement happening in the spiritual realm at this very second, and it carries your name on it. Yes, your name. Heaven has shifted something ancient, something that has followed a pattern for generations. But now that pattern has been broken. Do you feel that sight stirring in your chest? That quiet sense that something is different, even if you can't explain it? That is because something is different. God is doing the impossible, and you are the reason. Listen carefully, because this moment will not repeat itself the same way again. There are divine laws, sacred orders, and heavenly timelines that have always remained untouched. But for you, something has changed. It is as if the usual process had been bypassed. Doors that were meant to open slowly are now trembling, ready to burst open all at once. Answers that were delayed are suddenly rushing toward you. And what is most shocking of all is that this shift was not triggered by something loud or visible, but by something quiet within you. There was a moment, perhaps you didn't even notice it fully, when your heart cried out in a way that heaven could not ignore. It wasn't a perfect prayer. It wasn't spoken with grand words. But it was real. It was raw. And it reached a place it had never reached before. That moment has now echoed into something much bigger than you realize. You may have felt overlooked. You may have believed that your life was following an ordinary path, or even a delayed one. But what you didn't see was the accumulation of every silent tear, every act of faith when no one was watching, every time you chose to keep going when it would have been easier to give up. All of it has built up to this exact moment. And now something unprecedented is unfolding. There is a reason this message found you now and not yesterday. There is a reason you are hearing these words at this exact point in your life. Because the timing is no longer distant. It is immediate. The shift has already begun. The energy around your life is no longer the same. What once resisted you is beginning to release. What once stayed hidden is preparing to be revealed. But here is the part that may shake you. This is not just about blessing. This is about revelation. Something in your life, something connected to your environment, your space, or even someone near you, is about to come into the light. And when it does, you will understand why everything had to unfold the way it did. Do not look away from this moment. Do not dismiss this feeling as coincidence. Because this right here is the beginning of something that has never been done before. And you are at the center of it. There are divine patterns that have governed the universe since the beginning of time. Invisible systems, sacred timings, and spiritual protocols that even the angels honor without question. Nothing in heaven moves randomly. Every blessing has its appointed hour. Every breakthrough follows a sequence. Every answered prayer passes through a process. This is the order that has existed for generations until now. Because what is happening around you in this moment does not follow that order. Something has interrupted the usual flow. Something has caused heaven itself to pause, to reconsider, and then to act in a way that has never been recorded before. This is not a small adjustment. This is not a slight delay or acceleration. This is a complete override of what was expected. And the reason behind it is not found in history books, not in traditions, not even in the patterns that spiritual leaders have studied for centuries. The reason is you. There was something within you that aligned in a way that heaven could not ignore. Not perfection, not performance, but alignment. A moment where your spirit, your pain, your hope, and your surrender all met at the same point. That kind of alignment creates a signal, one so rare, so powerful, that it moves beyond the usual boundaries of divine timing. This is the moment heaven broke protocol. Understand this clearly. God does not change without purpose. Divine order is not rewritten without cause. For something to shift at this level, it means that what is being prepared for you is not ordinary. It cannot come through ordinary means. It cannot be delivered through the usual timeline. It requires something faster, something deeper, something that defies expectation. That is why you may have started to notice unusual things lately. Small disruptions, strange delays followed by sudden openings. Moments where things seem to fall apart only to come back together in an unexpected way. These are not coincidences. These are signs of a system being rearranged around you. Even the resistance you have felt recently has meaning. When something unprecedented is about to happen, there is often a surge of tension beforehand. It is not there to stop you. It is there because something is being repositioned. What once stood firmly in your way is being moved, shifted, or removed entirely. And in the middle of that movement, things can feel uncertain. But uncertainty is often the surface of transformation. There are forces that tried to keep everything as it was. Patterns that resisted being broken. But they could not hold their ground. Because the moment your alignment reached its peak, something greater took over. A command was released. A decision was made. And the usual waiting period was canceled. Think about that for a moment. The delay you expected is no longer in control. The timeline you thought you had to endure hath been shortened. What should have taken much longer is now accelerating toward you. But acceleration comes with intensity. This is why your spirit may feel more alert than usual. Why your thoughts may seem sharper. Why certain realizations are coming to you suddenly, without warning. It is because you are being prepared to receive something at a speed you did not anticipate. And there is more. When heaven breaks protocol, it is not only to deliver, it is also to reveal. Things that were hidden under layers of time, silence, where dissection begin to surface. Truth does not stay buried when divine order shifts. It rises. It comes into the light. And when it does, it changes everything. So if you have felt a growing sense that something is about to be uncovered, you are not imagining it. That feeling is real. It is connected to this moment. You are standing at the edge of something that has never happened before. A divine exception. A writing of what was expected. And as this continues to unfold, you will begin to see clearly why everything had to change and why it could only happen now. Here is a question rising quietly within you right now, even if you haven't spoken it out loud. Why me? Out of all the people in the world, out of all the voices that have cried out to heaven, what is it about you that caused this kind of response? Why would something so rare, so unprecedented, be centered around your life? The answer is not what you expect, and it is far deeper than anything visible on the surface. You were not chosen because everything in your life was perfect. You were not chosen because you had all the answers or because you followed every step flawlessly. In fact, it is quite the opposite. You were chosen because of the moments no one else saw. The moments when you almost gave up, but didn't. The moments when your heart was heavy, yet you still held onto a thread of faith. The moments when you felt alone, misunderstood, or even forgotten, but something inside you refused to completely shut down. Those moments created something powerful. Every silent tear you wiped away without recognition, every prayer you whispered without knowing if it was heard, every time you chose to rise again instead of staying down. These were not small things. They were building blocks. They were forming a kind of spiritual weight that began to shift the atmosphere around you. And over time, that weight became impossible to ignore. What makes this even more extraordinary is that you did not do it for attention. You did not do it to prove anything to anyone. Most of your strength was developed in private, in spaces where no applause could reach you. That kind of authenticity carries a different kind of power. It is not loud, but it is undeniable. And then there was a turning point. A moment where something inside you changed. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe it came after a deep struggle. But there was a shift where you stopped resisting everything, and instead, you surrendered in a way that was real. Not forced. Not rehearsed. Just real. That surrender did not make you weak. It made you aligned. And alignment is what activated everything. When your spirit aligned with truth, even in the middle of uncertainty, it sent out a signal unlike anything before. It was not just a request for help. It was a declaration, even if you didn't realize it. A declaration that you were ready for something different. Ready for truth. Ready for movement. Ready for change at a level you had never experienced. This is why heaven responded the way it did. You became a point of focus, not because you demanded it, but because your journey led you into it. And now, everything connected to that journey is being brought forward. The delays, the confusion, the unanswered questions, they are all being gathered into one moment of revelation. But here is what you must understand. Being chosen at this level also means being trusted. Trusted to handle what is about to be revealed. Trusted to stand firm when clarity replaces confusion. Trusted to recognize truth when it comes into the light, even if it is unexpected. Because what is unfolding is not just meant to bless you, it is meant to awaken you. There are things you will soon see differently. People, situations, even parts of your own story will begin to make sense in a new way. Pieces that once felt disconnected will suddenly come together. And when they do, you will realize that nothing you went through was wasted. Nothing. Even the hardest moments had a role in shaping this exact outcome. They refined your perception. They strengthened your spirit. They prepared you for what others might not have been able to handle. And now, that preparation is about to meet its purpose. This is why the feeling inside you has been growing stronger. A quiet sense that something is about to happen, that something is infinite, something is coming into the light. It is not imagination. It is confirmation. You were chosen because you became ready in a way that cannot be taught, cannot be forced, and cannot be replicated. And now, the result of that readiness is beginning to unfold. So do not doubt your place in this moment. Do not question whether this message is truly for you. If you are hearing this, if you feel it stirring within you, then it is already confirmed. Type "I am ready" for what is being revealed in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 639 has just been released over your life. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand this: what is unfolding is not just a moment. It is the beginning of something that will change how you see everything from here forward. Right here, right now, you are standing in the middle of a divine decision that has already been made in your favor. And nothing will stop what comes next. As this revelation settles into your spirit, this is the moment where many feel called to act, not out of obligation, but out of divine alignment. When a message like this reaches you, it is not just for your ears. It is a seed meant to multiply into the lives of others who are still searching, still waiting, still praying for clarity. God is saying, as you pour, I will pour back into you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If your heart is stirred to help carry this light further, you can release your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every video description, and even available as a QR code within this space. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act of agreement with what heaven is doing right now. Say within yourself, I am a vessel for this message to reach others, and move as you feel led. As you give, may your life be marked by overflow, by unexpected doors, and by divine acceleration. Step into this moment and release what has already been placed on your heart. There is something you need to understand, and it may explain a lot of what you have been feeling lately. What is unfolding in your life is not happening in isolation. It is not just about circumstances, timing, or coincidence. There has been a spiritual conflict surrounding your name. Yes, your name, long before you became aware of it. This is not meant to bring fear. It is meant to bring clarity. Because whenever something unprecedented is about to manifest, there is always resistance before the release. Not because the outcome is uncertain, but because the impact of that outcome is significant. And in your case, what is coming is not small. It carries weight. It carries influence. It carries a ripple effect that goes beyond what you can currently see. That is why things have felt intense. There have been moments when you felt blocked without explanation. Times when progress seemed within reach, only to suddenly slow down or shift direction. Situations where misunderstandings appeared out of nowhere, or where people around you acted in ways that didn't quite make sense. You may have questioned yourself, wondering if you were overthinking or imagining patterns that weren't really there. But you were sensing something real. There has been movement behind the scenes, forces trying to delay, distract, or disrupt the path that is now opening before you. Not because they are stronger, but because they recognize something about you early on. Something that you may not have fully recognized in yourself yet. Potential. Not ordinary potential, but the kind that changes outcomes. The kind that breaks patterns not only for you, but for others connected to your life. That kind of potential does not go unnoticed. And when it begins to activate, there is often an attempt to keep it contained. But here is where everything shifts. The attempts to hold you back have reached their limit. There is a divine authority that overrides every opposing force, and that authority has now stepped in with a level of finality. This is not a negotiation. This is not a delay tactic. This is a decisive movement that declares, enough. What once surrounded your path as resistance is now being turned into confirmation. The very things that tried to confuse you are now beginning to expose themselves. Patterns that once felt hidden are becoming visible, and the clarity that follows will not leave room for doubt. You may begin to notice this in subtle ways at first. A sudden realization about a situation that never quite felt right. A shift in how you perceive someone or something. A moment where everything clicks into place, and you see the truth clearly, without second-guessing it. That clarity is not random. It is the result of the spiritual pressure around your life being lifted. Because the battle around your name is not continuing. It is concluding. And as it concludes, something else begins. Protection. Not the kind you have to fight for, but the kind that surrounds you without effort. The kind that redirects what was meant to harm into something that strengthens you instead. You may not always see it happening in real time, but you will begin to recognize its effects. Situations that could have gone wrong somehow don't. Outcomes that once seemed uncertain suddenly stabilize. Paths that felt blocked open without struggle. This is what happens when the spiritual conflict reaches its end and divine order takes full control. But there is one more thing you need to be aware of. As the resistance fades, revelation increases. What was hidden during the time of conflict does not remain hidden once the conflict is over. Truth has a way of rising to the surface when the pressure that kept it down is removed. And in your case, that truth is connected to people, environments, and moments that shape your journey. Some of what you discover may surprise you, not because you were unaware, but because you didn't have full clarity before. Now, the clarity is coming in a way that cannot be ignored or misunderstood. And when it does, it will not confuse you. It will free you. So if you have felt tension, if you have sensed something deeper happening beneath the surface of your life, now you understand why. It was not random. It was not without purpose. It was a final stage before resolution. And now that resolution is here, the path ahead is no longer being contested. It is being cleared. Your name is no longer surrounded by resistance. It is surrounded by movement. There is something closer to you than you realize. Not distant, not hidden in some far-off place, but right within your daily environment. The space you wake up in, the walls that surround you, the atmosphere you have grown familiar with. There is more to it than what meets the eye. This is not just a place of routine. This is a place that hath been holding energy, moments, and truths that are now ready to surface. Your house, with the space you currently occupy, has witnessed more than you think. Every room carries an imprint. Every corner holds echoes of conversations, emotions, and intentions that have passed through it. Most of the time, these things remain unnoticed. They settle quietly, becoming part of the background of your life. But when something like this divine shift begins to unfold, those hidden layers do not stay silent anymore. They begin to respond. Have you noticed how certain areas of your space have felt different lately? Perhaps a room feels heavier than usual, or strangely quiet. Maybe there are moments when you feel an unexplained sense of awareness, as if something is trying to draw your attention. You may have brushed it off, thinking it was just your imagination or a passing mood. But it is deeper than that. The environment around you is aligning with what is happening within you. This is where things become important. Because the revelation that is coming is not only about your internal journey, it is also connected to something external, something tied to your surroundings. There is a truth linked to your current space that has remained hidden, either intentionally or simply unnoticed, but now it cannot remain concealed. And this truth is not random. It is connected to a sequence of events that led you to where you are right now. The reason you are in this specific place, at this specific time, is not as accidental as it may have seemed. There were decisions, movements, and circumstances that positioned you here. Some of them made sense. Others may have felt unclear. But together, they created a setup for revelation. There is something about your environment that is about to be exposed, not in a way that brings fear, but in a way that brings clarity. It could be something tied to a person who has been part of this space. It could be an energy that no longer aligns with where you are going. Or it could be a truth that has been present all along, waiting for the right moment to come into the light. And that moment is now approaching. This is why you may feel more alert than usual when you are at home or in your personal space. Your awareness is increasing. You are beginning to notice things you once overlooked. Small details, subtle changes, patterns that did not stand out before. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Signals that something is shifting. But here is what you need to hold on to. You are not being placed in this situation to be confused or overwhelmed. You are being positioned to see clearly, to understand what was once unclear, to recognize what needs to remain in your life and what no longer belongs. Because not everything that has been around you is meant to continue with you. And as this revelation unfolds, there may be a moment where everything clicks, a realization that brings both clarity and release. You may look around your space and suddenly understand why certain things felt the way they did, why certain interactions carried a specific energy, why certain moments left an impression that you could not fully explain at the time. That understanding will not come as chaos, it will come as confirmation. And with that confirmation, there will be a sense of authority rising within you, a quiet but firm knowing of what needs to change, what needs to be addressed, or what needs to be let go. This is not about reacting emotionally. This is about responding with clarity. Because once truth is revealed, you are no longer operating in uncertainty. You are operating in awareness, and awareness changes everything. So pay attention to your surroundings, not with fear, but with calm observation. Notice what stands out. Notice what feels aligned and what feels out of place. Trust the subtle signals that are beginning to rise within you, because your space is no longer just a place you exist in. It is becoming a place where truth is uncovered, and what is about to be revealed there will prepare you for everything that comes next. There is a presence connected to your life that you have felt, even if you could never fully explain it. Not always obvious, not always direct, but consistent enough that something within you has quietly taken notice. A tone in conversations that didn't sit right. A pattern of behavior that felt slightly off. A subtle tension that would come and go, leaving you wondering why. You did not imagine it. There is a woman tied to your environment, your circle, or your recent journey whose truth has not been fully visible until now. This is not about judgment or accusation. This is about revelation. Because when divine timing shifts the way it has in your life, nothing that operates in partial truth can remain hidden. Everything must come into the light. This woman may not have appeared harmful on the surface. In fact, there may have been moments where her presence seemed supportive, neutral, or even kind. That is what made it difficult to discern. The inconsistency, the subtle contradictions, the moments where something felt genuine, followed by moments where something felt unclear. And you felt it. You may have dismissed those feelings at the time. You may have told yourself not to overthink it. You may have given the benefit of the doubt, choosing peace over confrontation. That choice came from your nature, from your desire to maintain harmony rather than create conflict. But now, harmony is being replaced with clarity. Because what is hidden cannot stay hidden in a moment like this. There is something about this woman that is about to be revealed, not through chaos, not through dramatic exposure, but through undeniable truth. It may come through a conversation. It may come through a sudden realization. It may come through something you see or hear that connects everything together in an instant. And when it happens, you will not feel confused. You will feel certain. That is how you will know it is real. This revelation is not meant to hurt you. It is meant to free you. Because as long as something remains unclear, it holds a certain level of influence. It keeps you questioning, adjusting, and sometimes even doubting your own perception. But once the truth is revealed, that influence disappears. You are no longer navigating in uncertainty. You are standing in clarity. And clarity changes how you move. There may be a moment where you look back and realize that the signs were always there. Small things that didn't add up. Moments that felt slightly out of alignment. Reactions that didn't match the situation. At the time, they may have seemed insignificant, but now they will come together like pieces of a puzzle, and the picture will be clear. This is not about exposing someone to bring them down. It is about revealing truth so that you can rise without confusion. Because where you are going next requires a level of awareness that cannot coexist with hidden dynamics. You are being prepared to move forward without hesitation, without second guessing, without carrying questions that should have already been answered. And this is why the revelation is happening now. Timing matters. If this truth had been revealed earlier, you may not have been ready to receive it fully. You may have doubted it, ignored it, or tried to rationalize it away. But now, you are in a different place. Stronger, more aware, more aligned with what you feel internally. And now, you can see it for what it is. And more importantly, you can respond to it in a way that protects your peace and your path. There is also something else you need to understand. This exposure is not random. It is connected to your next step. The moment this truth becomes clear, something else will shift almost immediately. A decision you have been uncertain about will become obvious. A direction you were questioning will become firm. A weight you didn't fully recognize will lift. Because the presence of hidden truth creates subtle resistance. And once that resistance is removed, movement becomes natural. So when this happens, do not hesitate. Do not go back and question what you already know. Trust what is revealed to you, because it is being revealed for a reason, and that reason is to clear your path completely. You are not meant to carry confusion into what comes next. You are meant to walk forward with certainty. And this moment, the moment where truth comes into the light, is the final piece that makes everything else fall into place. There is a sense of urgency surrounding you now, and it is not imagined. It is not pressure created by your thoughts or emotions. It is something deeper, something precise. A countdown has already begun, and it is moving whether you are aware of it or not. This is not about fear. It is about timing. Because when something has been set into motion at the level your life is now experiencing, there is a point where everything begins to accelerate. The waiting that once felt endless suddenly gives way to movement that feels almost too fast to process. What once stood still begins to shift. What once delayed begins to align. And what once felt distant begins to approach with undeniable speed. That is where you are now. You may have already felt the first signs of this acceleration. Moments where things happen quicker than expected. Conversations that come out of nowhere. Realizations that seem to arrive fully formed, without the usual time it takes to understand them. These are not random bursts of activity. They are markers. Markers that the countdown has entered its final phase. There is something important about this stage. It requires your awareness. Not anxiety, not overthinking, but awareness. Because as everything begins to move faster, your ability to recognize what is happening becomes essential. The clearer you are, the smoother this transition will feel. But if you ignore the signals, you may feel overwhelmed by the pace. This is why you have been prepared step by step. Everything you have gone through, the delays, the confusion, the waiting, was not wasted time. It was building your capacity, strengthening your ability to remain steady even when things around you begin to shift quickly. Now this strength is being called forward, because the next moments will not unfold slowly. They will come in a sequence. One realization leading to another. One event connecting to the next. And before you fully process one shift, another will already be taking place. This is the nature of divine acceleration. It does not overwhelm, it reveals. And what it reveals will make everything clear. The reference to only a short time left is not just symbolic. It represents the closeness of what is about to happen. The distance between where you are now and what is about to be revealed has become very small. You are not waiting for something far away. You are standing at the edge of it. And when something is this close, the energy around it intensifies. This is why your awareness feels heightened, why your intuition feels sharper, why certain thoughts or feelings seem to repeat themselves, as if trying to get your attention. These are not distractions. They are signals guiding you through the final moments of this transition. Pay attention to what stands out. Pay attention to what feels different. Pay attention to what no longer fits the way it used to. Because these details are part of the unfolding. There is also a shift happening in how you respond to things. Situations that once triggered confusion may now feel clear. Decisions that once felt difficult may now seem obvious. This is not because the situations have changed, it is because you have. You are now aligned with the timing of what is happening. And alignment brings clarity. As the countdown continues, you may feel a mixture of anticipation and stillness. A sense that something is about to happen, combined with a calm awareness that you are ready for it. This balance is important. It keeps you grounded, while everything around you begins to move. Because what is coming does not require panic. It requires presence, being fully aware of what is happening as it happens, not rushing ahead, not holding back, simply recognizing each moment for what it is. There is one more thing you need to understand. When a countdown reaches its final seconds, there is no stopping it, no delay, no reversal. Everything that has been set into motion completes its course. That is where you are now. The process has moved beyond preparation. It has entered fulfillment. And as it does, the pieces will come together quickly. What once felt separate will connect. What once felt uncertain will become clear. And what once felt distant will be right in front of you. To stay aware, stay present. Because the moment you have been moving toward is no longer ahead of you. It is arriving. There are moments in life when signs appear so clearly that they cannot be dismissed, explained away, or ignored. You are entering one of those moments now. What is unfolding around you is no longer subtle. It is becoming visible, tangible, and undeniable. The signs you are receiving are not coincidences. They are confirmations. You may have already noticed them. A repeated message appearing in different forms. A thought that keeps returning no matter how many times you try to move past it. A sudden shift in someone's behavior that reveals more than their words ever did. Or even a feeling, deep, steady, and unshakable, that something is about to be revealed. These are not random experiences. They are aligned signals, designed to guide your awareness to exactly what you need to see. At this stage, the universe does not whisper, it speaks clearly. Because you are no longer in a place where subtle hints are enough. You are ready for clarity. You are ready for direct understanding. And that is why the signs are becoming stronger, more frequent, and more impossible to ignore. There is a pattern forming. And once you see it, everything will make sense. You may start connecting moments that once seemed unrelated. Conversations that felt incomplete will now reveal their true meaning. Situations that confuse you will suddenly feel obvious. It will be like watching a hidden picture come into focus. You will not need anyone to explain it to you. You will simply know. That knowing is your confirmation. Do not doubt it. Because doubt is the only thing that can blur what is now being made clear. There is also something important about the timing of these signs. They are not appearing randomly. They are appearing right before the full revelation. They are preparing you, aligning your perception so that when everything comes into the light, you are not shocked or overwhelmed. Instead, you are ready. This is why some of the signs may feel repetitive. It is not redundancy. It is reinforcement. It is making sure that you recognize the truth when it fully reveals itself. It is building certainty within you so that when the moment arrives, you do not hesitate or second-guess what you see. Because hesitation belongs to uncertainty, and uncertainty is being removed from your path. There may also be a moment where everything becomes quiet. A pause, a stillness, as if the movement that has been building suddenly slows down for just a second. Do not misinterpret that stillness. It is not a delay. It is a transition. The final breath before everything shifts into full clarity. And then it happens. The sign that cannot be ignored. It may come in a way you did not expect. It may be simple, yet powerful. It may not be loud, but it will be unmistakable. And when you see it, you will not question it. You will recognize it immediately. That moment will change how you see everything. Because once truth is seen clearly, it cannot be unseen. And once it is understood, it cannot be misunderstood. This is why this stage is so important. It is not just about receiving signs. It is about recognizing them, allowing them to guide you without resistance, trusting what you are being shown, even if it challenges what you previously believed. Because what you are stepping into now is not based on old patterns. It is based on truth, and truth does not need validation from anyone else. It stands on its own. So as these signs continue to appear, stay open. Stay aware. Let your perception adjust naturally. Do not force understanding, allow it to unfold. Because everything you need to see is already being placed in front of you. You are not searching anymore. You are witnessing. And what you are witnessing is leading you directly to the moment where everything becomes clear. Type "I see the signs" clearly in the comments if you are beginning to recognize what is being revealed. Blessing code 818 has just been activated over your path. And as these signs settle deeply into your spirit, understand this sacred moment you are in. When clarity begins to flow like this, it is never meant to stop with you. It is meant to reach others who are still waiting in confusion, still searching in silence. God is declaring, those who sow into the light will walk in the light. If your spirit feels moved to become part of this unfolding, you can release your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every video description and also available as a QR code within this space. This is not just giving, it is alignment with divine timing. Say within yourself, I respond to this moment with action, and follow that prompting without delay. As you give, may your life be marked by clarity, overflow, and divine favor that cannot be explained. Step into this moment and release what has already been placed on your heart. What you are experiencing right now is not just rare, it is unprecedented. And that word is not being used lightly. There have been miracles before. There have been sudden breakthroughs, unexpected blessings, and divine interventions throughout history. But what is happening in your life carries a different signature. It is not just about what is happening, it is about how it is happening, and why. Because this has never happened before in this way, at this level, for this reason. To understand this, you need to see beyond the surface. In every era, there have been patterns, ways in which things unfold, sequences that are followed, processes that are respected. Even miracles often move within a structure. There is usually a build-up, a progression, a visible path that leads to the outcome. But in your case, that structure has been altered. What should have followed a predictable path has instead taken a completely different route. Things that should have required time are accelerating. Things that should have been hidden longer are being revealed sooner. And things that should have unfolded step by step are now appearing all at once. This is not disorder. This is intentional. And the reason it is happening this way is because of what is attached to your life moving forward. There is a level of impact connected to your journey that requires a different kind of beginning. A beginning that does not follow old patterns, because what comes after it will not follow those patterns either. You are not stepping into something that has been repeated before. You are stepping into something that sets a new tone. That is why this moment feels so different. There is a weight to it. A sense that what is happening is not just about your current situation, but about something larger. Something that extends beyond what you can fully see right now. And that feeling is accurate. Because when something has never been done before, it carries a certain intensity. Not chaotic intensity, but focused intensity. A sense that everything is aligning in a way that cannot be explained by ordinary logic. You may have already tried to explain it. You may have looked at your situation and thought, how is this happening like this? Or why does this feel so different from anything I have experienced before? That questioning is natural, because your mind is trying to understand something that does not fit into familiar patterns. But this is not something that can be fully understood from the outside. It has to be experienced. There is also something else that makes this moment unique. You. Not just your circumstances, not just your timing, but your specific combination of experiences, decisions, resilience, and awareness. Everything you have gone through has created a foundation that is unlike anyone else's. And that foundation is what allows this kind of unprecedented shift to take place. Because this is not something that could happen for just anyone. It requires a certain level of readiness, a certain depth of understanding, a certain ability to recognize what is happening without being overwhelmed by it. And you have reached that point. This is why everything is coming together now. Not earlier, not later, but now. Because now is the moment where everything aligns. The past has prepared you. The present is revealing to you. And the future is opening to you. All at the same time. That kind of alignment does not happen within ordinary patterns. It happens outside of them. And when it does, it creates something new. Something that has not been seen before. This is also why you may feel a sense of responsibility, even if you cannot fully explain it. A feeling that what you are stepping into matters in a way that goes beyond your personal experience. That feeling is not accidental. Because when something unprecedented begins, it often carries a purpose that extends beyond the individual. It becomes a reference point, a moment that changes what is possible moving forward. And that is what your life is becoming. A point of change. A shift in what could happen, how it can happen, and when it can happen. So as everything continues to unfold, do not try to force it into familiar explanations. Do not limit it by comparing it to what has happened before. Because this is not a repetition of the past. This is the beginning of something new. Something that has never happened before. And you are not just witnessing it. You are the reason it is happening. There comes a moment when everything that has been building beneath the surface finally rises into full expression. Not gradually, not in fragments, but in a way that changes the entire direction of your life at once. You are approaching that moment now. The shift is no longer forming. It is arriving. And when it arrives, nothing will remain the same. This is not about a small improvement or a temporary breakthrough. This is a foundational change. a reordering of how things function in your life. The patterns that once defined your experiences are losing their hold, and in their place, something entirely new is taking shape. You may already feel the edge of this shift, a sense that the old way of living, thinking, and responding no longer fits. Situations that you once tolerated now feel out of alignment. Conversations that once felt normal now seem different. Even your own reactions are changing. Things that once triggered you no longer carry the same weight. And things that once felt unclear are beginning to feel obvious. This is not coincidence. This is transformation. The shift begins internally, but it does not stay there. It moves outward, touching every area of your life. Your environment, your relationships, your opportunities. Everything begins to realign with who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is not who you were before. There is a new level of clarity forming within you. A deeper awareness that allows you to see beyond appearances. You are no longer guided by confusion or uncertainty. You are guided by understanding, by a quiet certainty that does not need external validation. This is what makes the shift so powerful, because it is not dependent on circumstances. It is anchored within you. And once something is anchored within you, it cannot be easily shaken. This is why the changes that follow will feel natural, even if they are significant. You will not feel like you are forcing anything. You will feel like you are stepping into what was always meant for you. There may be moments of surprise, yes. Moments where you look at what is happening and realize how quickly everything has changed. But alongside that surprise, there will be a sense of recognition, a feeling of this makes sense, because deep down, you have always been moving toward this point, even when you didn't realize it, even when things felt uncertain. Every experience, every delay, every challenge has been shaping your ability to stand in this moment without hesitation. And now, that preparation is complete. The shift is here. With it comes a release. Things that once felt heavy will no longer weigh on you the same way. Questions that once lingered will no longer need answers. The need to figure everything out will be replaced by a sense of knowing. This is what happens when clarity takes the place of confusion. And with that clarity comes movement. Opportunities will begin to appear in ways that feel aligned. Not forced, not complicated, but clear. You will recognize them without overthinking. You will move toward them without doubt. Because you are no longer searching. You are responding. Responding to what is already being placed in front of you. There is also a shift in your energy that others will begin to notice. Not because you are trying to show it, but because it is naturally present. A steadiness. A confidence, a sense of direction that does not waver. This will change how people interact with you. Some will be drawn to it. Others may not understand it. And that is okay. Because the shift is not about fitting into old expectations. It is about stepping fully into who you are now. And who you are now is aligned with something greater. Something that is still unfolding. As this continues, you may feel a sense of anticipation, not anxious anticipation, but calm awareness, and knowing that more is coming, and that you are ready for it. That feeling is correct, because this shift is not the end. It is the beginning of a new way of living, a new way of seeing, a new way of moving through your life. Everything that follows will be shaped by this moment. So do not resist it. Do not question it. Allow it to unfold. Because what is changing now is not temporary. It is permanent. And it will carry you into everything that was waiting for you on the other side of this transformation. Everything has led to this moment. Not just the revelations, not just the signs, not just the shift that is unfolding, but your position within it. Because now, more than ever, your response matters. Not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that defines alignment. What is happening around you has already been set into motion. The revelations will come. The truth will be exposed. A shift will continue to unfold. These things are not dependent on whether they will happen. They are already happening. But how you respond to them will determine how you experience them. There are two ways to stand in a moment like this. You can meet it with hesitation, questioning everything, holding on to what is familiar even when it no longer aligns. Or you can meet it with awareness, trust, and clarity, allowing what is being revealed to guide your next steps. This is where your role becomes powerful. Because you are not just a witness to what is happening, you are a participant in how it unfolds within your life. As truth continues to surface, you may be faced with decisions. Not always large, obvious decisions, but subtle ones. Choices about what you accept, what you release, what you continue to engage with, and what you step away from. These choices matter because they reflect your alignment with what is being revealed. If something becomes clear to you, truly clear, do not ignore it. Do not return to uncertainty once certainty has been given. That is how confusion tries to re-enter. Not by hiding the truth again, but by making you question what you already know. Stay with clarity. Trust what you see when it is revealed without distortion. There may also be moments where your response requires stillness rather than action. Not every revelation demands immediate movement. Some require you to observe, to understand, to let the full picture come into focus before you decide what to do next. This is where patience becomes part of your response. Not the kind of patience that waits in uncertainty, but the kind that stands in awareness without rushing ahead. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be within this unfolding. And that understanding allows you to respond from a place of steadiness rather than urgency. There is also something important about how you carry yourself during this time. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you interpret what is happening, all of these shape your experience. If you approach this moment with doubt, everything may feel confusing. If you approach it with awareness, everything will begin to make sense. This is not about forcing belief. It is about recognizing what is already becoming clear. Because clarity does not require effort. It reveals itself naturally when you allow it to. As the shift continues, you may notice that certain paths are becoming more defined. Opportunities that align with your new awareness will feel natural. Paths that do not align will feel distant or irrelevant. This is part of the guidance you are receiving. Follow what feels clear. Release what feels forced. There is no need to hold on to something that no longer fits your direction. And there is no need to chase something that is not aligned with your path. Everything you need will come into alignment as long as you remain aligned with yourself. This is where your power is, not in controlling what happens next, but in how you stand within it. Because the outcome is not just about external events. It is about your internal position. When you stand in clarity, the outcome reflects clarity. When you stand in awareness, the outcome reflects awareness. When you stand in trust, the outcome reflects trust. So as everything continues to unfold, stay grounded in what you know is real. Stay connected to the clarity that has been given to you. Do not let outside noise or past patterns pull you back into uncertainty. You have already moved beyond that. This is a new phase. A phase where your response is no longer shaped by confusion, but by understanding. And that changes everything. Because now, you are not reacting to life. You are moving with it. In alignment. In awareness. In certainty. And that is what allows everything that is unfolding to reach its full expression in your life. Your response is not just part of the process. It is the key that unlocks the fullness of what is already on its way to you. My beloved soul, as everything settles into place, feel this moment fully, not with tension, not with uncertainty, but with peace. Because what has been revealed, what has shifted, and what is now unfolding was never meant to harm you. It was always meant to guide you, protect you, and bring you into a deeper understanding of where your life is truly meant to go. You have walked through confusion, through waiting, through moments where things did not make sense. You have carried questions, felt the weight of uncertainty, and at times wondered if clarity would ever come. But now you can see it was all leading here. Nothing was wasted. Every delay had a purpose. Every challenge shaped your strength. Every moment of doubt refined your awareness. And now, you are standing in a place where things are no longer hidden from you. The truth has surfaced. The shift has taken place. And the path ahead is no longer unclear. This is your assurance. You are not alone in this. There is a divine presence that has walked with you through every step, even when you could not feel it. Every moment you thought you were navigating on your own, there was guidance surrounding you. Every time you felt uncertain, there was protection covering you. And now that everything is becoming clear, that presence is not leaving, it is becoming even more evident. You are being guided forward, not pushed, not rushed, but gently and steadily led into what comes next. Take a breath and notice the difference within you now. There is a calmness that was not there before, a quiet confidence, a sense that you do not need to search anymore, because what you needed to understand has already been revealed. This is what peace feels like after clarity. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It simply exists within you, steady and unshaken. And from this place, you can move forward without fear. Whatever changes you need to make, you will make them with understanding. Whatever decisions are ahead of you, you will approach them with confidence. Because you are no longer guessing. You are knowing. This is the gift of everything that has unfolded. Not just external change, but internal certainty. And with that certainty comes trust. Not blind trust, but grounded trust. Trust in what you have seen. Trust in what you have understood. Trust in the direction that is now opening before you. There is no need to go back to what was unclear. There is no need to revisit what has already been revealed. You are free to move forward. And as you do, there will be moments of quiet confirmation. Small reminders that you are on the right path. A sense of alignment that continues to guide you. These moments will not be overwhelming. They will be gentle, consistent, and reassuring. That is how you will know you are exactly where you need to be. So release any remaining tension. Release the need to figure out every detail. Allow yourself to rest in the understanding that what needed to happen has already begun, and it will continue to unfold in the right way. At the right time. You are safe in this process. You are supported in this transition. And you are ready for what comes next. Type "I trust the path" before me in the comments if you feel this peace settling into your spirit. Blessing code 1001 has now been released over your life. And as this peace anchors deeply within you, hear this calling as more than a message. It is a moment of divine participation. God is saying, when you release into my work, I release into your life. If this message has reached you, it is because you are part of something greater, something that is meant to flow beyond you into the lives of others still waiting for light. Now say within yourself, I am a vessel for this divine work, and act on it. Sow your seed through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in every video description and available as a QR code in this space. This is not a simple offering. It is a prophetic step into alignment with what heaven is doing right now. As you give, may your life overflow with peace, clarity, and blessings that return to you multiplied beyond expectation. Step forward and release what has already been placed on your heart.